What I love most about Mi Gente is our community and how important it is to take care of our own.
Hey, it's Honey and Carolina. On our podcast, Life in Spanglish, we talk about how important being there for your loved ones is.
Pero también sobre lo importante que es tener a alguien dispuesto a apoyarte cuando lo necesites, como lo hace State Farm.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Aprende más en es.statefarm.com.
Bummer, the holidays are over. No more presents. But yay, you have your freedom again. The new year is full of ups and downs, but however you're feeling, you can always be happy with Prime Video. Catch the new season of Reacher. Rent or buy new releases like Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour Extended Version. You can add on hundreds of streamers. One app, one password. Prime Video. Find your happy place. Restrictions apply. Prime membership not required to rent or buy. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
Educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work podcast, where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
I thank you very much for coming on today. I have the owner and founder of powwows.com, the leading online community celebrating Native American arts and culture for the past 25 years. And combining community building and marketing strategies, this gentleman has been able to build one of the largest and most engaged online communities in the world while working full-time. Meanwhile, traveling to Disney more than 42 times. So, we want to talk about that a little bit. So I bring none other to you than Mr. Paul Gowder. Thank you, Paul, for coming on today, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
No problem, man. No problem. So, quick question, man. 42 trips to Disney? Really?
Yeah. So first of all, we live in South Carolina. So for us, it's easy to drive down.
Okay.
And one of the things we did early on as a family is decide that we wanted to prioritize experiences and travel. Of course, we are huge Disney fans. So one of the things we did was go to Disney. And so, as my daughter was growing up, if it was President's Day weekend or Labor Day weekend, whatever those weekends, we would just drive down to Florida. And somewhere along the line, my daughter got a goal that she wanted to go more than 40 times before she graduated high school. So we hit the goal, and I'm excited to say that she's a sophomore in college now. And
Nice.
In January, she'll be moving to Florida to start the Disney College program and working at Disney World.
Wow. So that was the precursor to her actual career, huh?
Yes.
How were you able to do that and start to build a business at the same time? Sometimes we don't look at the two, of, hey,
Right.
what? We're spending more money because Disney is not, cheap, right? But because your business also takes in a lot of money, that you need to invest in. How were you able to prioritize and build the two at the same time?
Yeah. So a couple of things there. Well, I said we prioritize travel. So that meant for us, we weren't big on, going to the movies or, we drove less expensive cars. We made decisions financially to put more money into our travels. And we did a lot of things, especially early on in our careers when we didn't have the salary to support everything we needed. We did savings accounts and we did investments and put money in, there for a while. Like I did the strategy of taking so much out of our account and putting it automatically into, and we still do that. We still have a travel account, right? And then about 4 or 5 years ago, my wife also became a travel agent. So that helped a lot. Getting some discounts and perks. So that kind of stuff helped too. But really it was, even for Christmases and birthdays and things like that, instead of giving each other, especially my wife and I, giving each other, big presents or whatever, we gave each other gift cards for travel, or the present was just a trip, right? And that's kind of we prioritized that, and we made it. That was why we put in so many hours. That was kind of our driving force when we were working nights and weekends and lunch hours to build the business while I was working full time. That was how we wanted to spend our extra money and extra time, is we wanted to have those experiences as a family.
So in this, what made you start powwows.com?
Oh man, I started it in 1996, and it was never meant to be a business.
Okay.
I was an accidental entrepreneur. I think probably even if I had not started powwows.com, I may have started some kind of other thing, but really it was in grad school. I was working on my master's degree, and this whole, web thing was just blossoming, and I was wanting to teach myself how to build web pages. I thought that would be neat. I always enjoyed tinkering with computers and, playing games, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I started doing that, and I built a few web pages on things that in grad school I was learning about, right?
Okay.
And one of those was vintage Star Wars toy collecting. That page is still out there in its original 1996 state.
Wow.
And that didn't take off. It was before all the new movies came out. I built that page now. Maybe it would have taken off, but and also like during that time was when I first started learning about powwows. I had some friends that were taking me to powwows, teaching me how to make my outfits and beadwork and the songs, all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to share that, right? And I was like, oh, that'd be cool. Let me build a web page and talk about it, because it was interesting, and I was learning all this stuff, and like, here's a way I can share what I'm learning. And it took it from the beginning. People felt connected, and there was this sense of people wanting to connect with each other. And it was that community aspect. And the same kind of, if you ever go to a Native American powwow, and they are open to the public, you'll feel that sense of community, that sense of belonging, camaraderie, whatever. And people wanted that same experience online. And that was kind of the impetus of where we, added a forum in the, early days, and started letting people interact and connect with each other. And that's kind of how it started.
Okay.
It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't really meant to be a business. We only started really monetizing and figuring out how to at least make a little bit of money off of it when we started having to pay for things.
Okay.
So as the site started growing and we had bills, that was like, well, let's figure out if can I at least break even, right?
Right. So, this is going to be two things that come to mind. First, what software did you use to build a website back then? Because so as I'm listening to you talk, I'm reminded of my first introduction to programming, which is Pascal. When I say stuff like that, like, people are like, what is that? What is that? But what did you use? Front Page, or what were you using around that time?
This was before Front Page. The first tool I used, it was a WYSIWYG editor, and I went to Babbage's software. Let's see who remembers that.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
Babbage's software store, and they had a box, and it was called Internet in a Box, and it came with an editor, an FTP software, Gopher tool, and all these other. It was like all the tools you would need to set all this up, and that's kind of where I started. Eventually I did move. I did Front Page for a while. I did Dreamweaver. That Dreamweaver is still around, but the original thing was just some weird software, Internet in a Box.
I had to ask real quick, just the techie side of me real quick. But in this though, was Star Wars a hobby, which is why you started going into that, and then it, like you said, it morphed into something else?
Yeah, in college, that was one of the things as a kid, I grew up in the Star Wars age when the original trilogy came out. That was my childhood, right? And I had a lot of vintage toys, and somewhere along the line, I found, I saw something where people were collecting them, and there were places to go and buy them and try to find more of them. So I had a apartment, and eventually my roommate moved out, and so I kind of turned the second bedroom into my Star Wars room, and I set up all my figures and play sets, and that was when I started, trying to find all of it and kind of complete some of the collections. And yeah, it was really just fun. And so yeah, that was one of the things I built a webpage about.
So in that, building a webpage around the hobby, quote unquote, right? How do you continue to build upon that, building an engaging community, if you will, with a website, with a focus, things like that?
Yeah. And that's probably why the Star Wars thing never took off, is because I really never considered the community aspect of it. If I had maybe added a forum or added some ways for people to interact, maybe it would have taken off. I don't know. But it was quickly evident that the powwow thing is where I was getting visitors. So it was quickly, the Star Wars thing was just kind of put to the wayside. Like I said, it's still out there. I never really further developed, other than, some of those first things I did. The whole community aspect is kind of what drove me focusing more on the powwow side.
So how would you encourage someone to build a community, no matter what the situation is, the business is?
Right.
How would you encourage someone to build a community?
One of the things I like to tell people is they need to treat all aspects of their business as community. Think community first. I see so many people now focus and think that community is only a Facebook group. I, any way somebody touches my business, whether it's email or a Facebook post or YouTube or, an Instagram DM, I treat everybody the same way. They are all part of my community, even if you don't join my Facebook group, right? And so you have to think of it that way. And that means interacting with them, replying to emails, building an email marketing system around the idea of community, and actually talking to people and not just shouting sales specials at them. And really thinking about engaging with your audience first, however they touch your business.
So in there, how about individuals that may feel stuck in growing their community? I don't have enough people that has subscribed to my email newsletter or things like that. How would you, if someone felt stuck, what would you encourage them, or how would you encourage them to get past that part?
First thing I was telling them is, regardless of how many subscribers you have, look at what you're sending to them, and let's really focus on talking directly to them. That was a change I made several years ago in my email. My emails used to look like a Sunday morning sales paper with all kinds of flashy banners and stuff. Now they're mainly text, and I talk directly to people. I always sign my emails, Paul G from powwows.com. And I talk very directly. I tell them personal stories. I ask questions. When they reply to me, I make sure I respond to them. So that's the first thing is, regardless of how many people are on your email list, make sure you're engaging with them and sending them something that makes them feel like they are part of your community. Then we can start talking about how to grow your list. People will tell me all the time, well, I only have, 50 subscribers. Well, if 50 people were sitting in your living room, you'd be pretty excited, right?
Yeah, you would be.
To hear you speak, right? So engage with them, and build that. Make sure those 50 people are rabid fans and engage with the community, and then we can start growing the email list.
So how important are giveaways? Because that's one thing that I've been touring with for quite some time. So how important are giveaways in that?
Okay, shameless plug. PaulGowder.com. I actually have a course on running giveaways. Giveaways has been a huge part of my business. I do one every single month, and I've been doing that for about 2 or 3 years now. So a couple of key points for giveaways. First, and this was a mistake I made early on, is find a prize that is going to resonate with your audience. Don't give away iPads and iPhones and things like that everybody's going to want.
Right. Find
something that is really relative to your audience. You can kind of see them back here. They're stacked up. There's boxes. My biggest giveaway is 8th generation blankets. So those are woven, Native American made blankets, Native American owned company. It is something that's really big in powwows. Everybody knows what these blankets are. And when you see the designs, you know exactly what they belong, what group they belong to. So that resonates with my readers. Maybe I'll get a few people that come in just to want the prize because it is a valuable prize. But for the most part, people are going to join my giveaways because that prize means something to them. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is just, create some fun giveaways that your audience will really enjoy doing. I have people now on my list that they absolutely love my giveaways. I use a software called Viral Sweep, and I do recommend that one. It's really good. It is a little more on the pricey side. So, Rafflecopter, King Sumo, those do the same kind of thing. But they let you create giveaways where you can give people additional steps instead of just asking for an email address. You then give them additional steps. So you kind of gamify it, and, have them go and do things. The giveaway I'm running right now, I don't want to talk technical because it does get complicated, but the concept is the big one I run for Native American Heritage Month is Viral Sweep allows me to use bonus codes. So I will hide bonus codes in emails, on the website, in my live shows, on our live streams for powwows, Instagram stories. We put them all over the place, and people really enjoy the whole idea of going and finding all these bonus codes. Not only does that add tons of people to your email list, but again, you're engaging with them, you're giving them something to do. The traffic during these giveaways for those kind of things goes through the roof. People love that. So yeah, giveaways has been a huge part of my business, really big for building the email list, but also building traffic and keeping my readers engaged.
So question then, I hear that you have a lot going on right now. Are you solo in this, or have you disseminated any of the work out to anybody, if you will?
Yeah, great question. So first, I'll say, as far as like my entrepreneur journey, while I was building this business and this website, I worked full time for the state of South Carolina with various agencies. In 2021, I think, or 2020, now I can't remember, 2022. I finally hit my retirement age, or years of service. So I was actually able to do full retirement, leave the state. In South Carolina, if you work 28 years, you get if you started working it when I did, all you had to do was work 28 years and you got a full pension. So I'm very fortunate that I was able to do that. It takes care of a lot of stuff, right? So that allowed me to leave and dedicate more time to this. But yeah, along the way, when I was still working full time, it was a struggle. It was something that I hesitated doing. It was hard to give up control. But I think, as entrepreneurs, we don't think anybody can do it the way we do it. And so I know a lot of people hesitate to outsource, but once I embraced that, it was a huge, huge help to me. It helped me grow so much. I had a business coach years ago tell me, is that, figure out what are the things that you do that nobody else can do that you really adds to your business, and find those other things that somebody else could do that doesn't require your expertise, and then give that kind of stuff away. And I started with baby steps, using things like Fiverr and Upwork, sites like that, in hiring people. So yeah, it's definitely, we definitely have a team now that really helps me out. But it is a struggle to give up control. But I'd say, take a baby step. One of the people I coached recently, we went through the same thing with her, and she was so hesitant. And I was like, because she wanted to, she needed help writing emails, right? Developing email sequences and, kind of developing a whole set of emails. And I was like, just let's go on a site like Upwork and let's find somebody who's a writer and just give, spend $20 to have somebody write 3 or 4 emails, a little bit of money. Right. And she was so hesitant. I mean, she's like, well, what they're going to send something to my email list. I'm not going to like them. No. They're just going to give you the text. Right. You're the one that's going to hit send, right? You retain all control. And it was so great when she finally did it. And she wrote me back after she got the text back the first time. It's like, oh my God, this person has written the best stuff. And it was really cool because some of the words that the person used in the emails resonated with her so much. She took some of the, little catchphrases the lady used and has now made it part of her tagline on her business and her, on all of her stuff. It does help, but start small and find some tasks that's easy to outsource, and it can make a big difference.
Paul, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I thank you for coming on today. Can you please share, where people can find Powwow or, any of your groups, subscribe to your email list, all those type of things?
Sure. So first, powwows, like I said, are open to the public, and I highly encourage you to find one. They happen in all 50 states. They happen in all Canadian provinces. And over at powwows.com, we do have a calendar of events. You can go to powwows.com/powwows near me, and that will show you a list of powwows that are close to you, and you can find one to attend. They're amazing, complete cultural immersion into Native American culture. You'll love it. If you want to, help get unstuck, like you said earlier, I'm here to help. Especially with giveaways and email marketing, building community. I'd love to work with you. Check me out over at paulgowder.com.
Thanks, Paul, for coming on today. But before I let you go, I asked the question I ask everybody, right? Would you rather question? Would you rather choose a fork in the road or 3 doors?
Oh. I think I'd have to say fork in the road. The 3 doors things always scares me because there's too many choices. Yeah. I'll do the fork in the road. Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I appreciate you answering, man. Taking the time to answer. Everybody, look at the fork in the road. Some people want to cheat. They want to, peek down. They want to take a look at the ground and say, hey, there's more footsteps this way. I'm going to go road less traveled, type thing. Right. So, but I thank you, man. I thank you for answering that question for me, Paul.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Thanks a lot, man. And thank y'all very much for listening today, and continue to listen to That Will Never Work podcast.
Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at Chisholm Group LLC and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work, or will it?
Well, shopping for a car?
Yep, Carvana made financing a car as smooth as can be.
Oh, yeah?
I got pre-qualified instantly and had real terms personalized just for me.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
Well, I got to browse thousands of car options on Carvana, all within my budget.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
It does. I actually wanted a car that seemed out of my range, but I was able to add a cosigner and found my dream car.
It doesn't get much...
Oh, it gets smoother. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today.
Selling your car to Carvana is as easy as...
As easy as pie?
Sure. All you have to do is enter your license plate or VIN.
As easy as a stroll in the park.
Okay, then just answer a few questions and you'll get a real offer in seconds.
As easy as singing.
Why not? Schedule a pickup or drop-off and Carvana will pay you that amount right on the spot.
As easy as playing guitar.
Actually, I find that kind of difficult. But selling your car to Carvana is as easy as...
Can be.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get an instant offer today.